Let's begin. Today is the 18th day of the first month in the 9th year of Channel Group, March 1, 2021. To begin our day, let's offer our respect and gratitude to our Heavenly Parent and true parents of heaven, earth, and all humankind. 천지인 참 부모님께 경배 바로 가정맹세
가정맹세 1. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 본향 땅을 찾아 본연의 창조 이상인 지상 천국과 천상 천국을 창건할 것을 맹세하나이다. 2. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님을 모시어 천주의 대표적 가정이 되며 중심적 가정이 되어 가정에서는 효자, 국가에서는 충신, 세계에서는 성인, 천주에서는 성자의 가정의 도리를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 3. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 4대 심정권과 3대 왕권과 황족권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 4. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님의 창조 이상인 천주 대가족을 형성하여 자유와 평화와 통일과 행복의 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 5. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 매일 주체적 천상세계와 대상적 지상세계의 통일을 향해 전진적 발전을 촉진화할 것을 맹세하나이다. 6. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님의 대신 가정으로서 천운을 움직이는 가정이 되어 하늘의 축복을 주변에 연결시키는 가정을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 7. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 본연의 혈통과 연결된 위하는 생활을 통하여 심정 문화 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 8. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 천일국 시대를 맞이하여 절대신앙, 절대사랑, 절대복종으로 신인의 일체 이상을 이루어 지상천국과 천상천국의 해방권과 석방권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다.
For the opening prayer, may I call our Archbishop Elias Soria, the President of Interreligious Association for Peace and Development. Bishop, unmute po.
Good morning, everyone. Please join me in prayer. 사랑하시는 하늘 부모님, 천진 참 부모님, 감사합니다. 사랑합니다. Our dear, most loving heavenly parents, our victorious true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind, thank you indeed from the bottom of our hearts for all the blessings that you have given us, especially your unconditional guidances that has kept us aligned to the providence centering on our beloved, victorious, true parents. We thank you as well for this beautiful day that you have given us, especially that we can have this morning devotion with brothers and sisters, not only those who are in the Philippines, but also our brothers and sisters from Japan, Korea, the United States of America, and even South America, and elsewhere in the world. Oh, Heavenly Parent, we pray that as we listen to your words and your wisdom. May you be able to speak to us, speak through our national leader, Reverend Leo Angelo Halog, in order that we be able to carry out the responsibility that you have tasked us to undergo. But most of all, O Heavenly Parent, we pray for our victorious true mother, who is the central providence guiding the whole of humanity as they continue to carry out their responsibility in the front lines of front lines. We pray for her good health and her protection because despite her old age, she is challenging all of the first generation leaders and also raising up the second, the third generations, and the generations to come. Oh, Heavenly Parent, we pray that as we commune with you in this beautiful day, we pray that you will continuously guide our hearts and our minds always so that we would always be one with you in spirit and in experiencing your longing heart and be able to guide all of us of how we'll be able to become your instrument in order to carry out that responsibility that you have given us. We pray for our elders who are here with us, our chairman of John W. Won, Dr. Robert and Mrs. Kittle, and our vice president for Region 2 of Asia Pacific, Dr. Julius Malikdam, and all the other leaders all over Asia who are with us tonight, this morning, and all our brothers and sisters who are now attentively joining this morning devotion. Let's be with us again from beginning until the end. We would like to offer, pray, offer, and report all of these things in the names of Archbishop Elias of Lucia of the Soria Blessed and the family. Aju.
Aju. Let us offer our individual prayer. us offer our greetings to our Heavenly Parent and true parents. Good morning, Heavenly Parents, true parents, to our leaders, elders, brothers, and sisters. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning to everyone, to all our brothers and sisters in the center. You may now take your seat. Good morning and welcome to our morning devotion. To begin, let us welcome our Sister Joy de los Santos for our Hunduk reading.
Good morning, everyone. So, our reading for today is taken from The Mother of Peace, a memoir by Hak Jahan Moon. Chapter 4 God's light shines upon a path of thorns. Continuation. When a woman has a baby, she experiences the pain of childbirth. Despite this, the midwife's job is to encourage her to push more. Like midwives giving birth to a new world, my husband and I pushed our unification family members. Historically, every time danger appeared, the Korean people, farmers, and loyal patriots defended their homes and their nation. With that spirit, our members rose and defended their homes and nation against communism. My husband counseled this gor- gorgeous woman, the people do not understand unification now, that if the 30 million people of Korea join together with the Unification Church, this nation and these people will not perish. The blessed wives buried their pain in their hearts, for they knew that their mission was for the sake of the nation. In hindsight, their work has borne great fruit and can only be considered the most praiseworthy act of patriotism. Thus far, it has been hidden from view in our nation's history, but one day it will be revealed. As the Unification Church spread to other countries, blessed wives around the world followed the example of the early Korean wives and their families. Thus, this brilliant chapter has been written in the history, not just of Korea, but of all nations. All blessed wives stand on this foundation and are carrying on this tradition. It is a story of women sacrificing to preserve the nation and world. One of its fruits appeared 20 years later in our meeting with Mikhail Gorbachev, the then president of the Soviet Union. This opened the door to teach the young people of the former Soviet Union our God centered worldview, the democratic spirit and ethical values which contributed to the reconciliation of East and West and the downfall of communism. Another fruit was our trip to North Korea in 1991, when we met North Korean leader Kim Il sung. Our harrowing but thoroughly triumphant visit opened the way for dialogue between North and South Korea and prepared a foothold for our work there. My last moment on earth is approaching. The foundation for our breakthroughs in the Kremlin and North Korea also includes the selfless work of European members. One day, in the early 1980s, we received a one-page letter from one of them. It concluded with heartening words, "My last moment on earth is approaching. This is the last greeting I give you here on earth. I will meet you in the spirit world. Please live a long and healthy life." This young man was behind the Iron Curtain in a communist prison, and this was his final letter, written just before his execution. The instant I read it, my body stiffened, as if my blood had turned cold and blue. My tears froze. I couldn't say anything. I felt like the fabled woman Mang Bong Suk, who died and turned to stone. I just stood there. My husband and I had to quietly, secretly hold such beloved people in our hearts. As the true parents of all people, our path with theirs was perilous and desperate. Unable to talk with anyone about such things, we could only weep inside and proceed with broken hearts. For many years in Korea, whenever our members gathered, sooner or later, a lively discussion would take place about our movement's strategy. We must turn our eyes to the wider world now. Someone would say, another would retort, isn't it too early? We don't even have a church building here in Korea. And a third would join the fray. Okay, so we build an attractive building, but if it's only for Korea, will God like it? Of course, my husband and I were well aware of the issues and knew that both evangelizing internationally and building a strong church in Korea were important, but we steadfastly chose the word over Korea. And as a result, the appearance of our first churches remained shabby. Up until the 1980s, we could not present to the nation even a single decent church building. Our members might have wished to have a place where they could gather with guests and comfortably hold services, but it was not to be. Small A-frame structures with green roofs were all we had. In the public square, as well, people ridiculed us, asking why we and our members kept talking about restoring the road when we didn't even have a decent church building. From a humanistic perspective, they had a point, but they did not know the principle. Our church was created for a higher purpose, and we put working for humanity in the world first. The salvation of the world took precedence over our task in Korea. In 1958, our first missionary crossed the sea to Japan, and the next year, a few trusted members pioneered missions in the United States. Given the impoverished state of our Korean church, it was almost unthinkable to start foreign missions in Japan and the United States. But our purpose went beyond being solely a Korean group. To bolster these budding foreign missions, Father Moon undertook a 10-month world tour in 1965. The course included a period where he drove with a few followers to every state in the continental United States to consecrate prayer sites that we call holy grounds in each. He met our missionaries and their young members in the United States, Europe, and other countries, and met prominent public figures, including former US President Dwight Eisenhower. On this momentum, the flow of unification missionaries into Europe, the Middle East, and South America began to rise. Supporting the organization and coordination of all these missions made conditions arduous, both in the mission field and in Korea. And sometimes Korean members would shake their heads and say, things are getting worse. But in the 1970s, the divine principle of the Unification Church spread through the world. Many tens of thousands of young people heard the lectures and left their old lives to dedicate themselves to God's providence. It wasn't long before the countries of the world, as though with one accord, gathered their energy to oppose us. But our movement was like a roly-poly toy. The persecution hit us, and we bounced back. It hit us again, and we bounced back again, even stronger. In 1975, we held mission conferences in Japan and in America, from which we selected young missionaries and dispatched them to some 95 new nations, in addition to the more than 30 already with active missions. There were many reasons to delay or slow down our evangelical outreach, but we could feel God's urgency and pressed forward. I recall my husband's words, shared late one evening. There will always be reasons that we cannot send them, but if we do not send them now, we will never send them. There will never be a moment without difficulties. Let us make a firm decision when things seem the most difficult. The 1975 cohort of faithful men and women represented not one nation but three: Japan, the United States, and Germany or Austria, countries that were enemies during the Second World War. We sent them in groups of three. one Japanese, one American, and one German or Austrian. Their unity with each other was the foundation for outreach and service that bore great fruit over the decades. Unlike many Christian missionaries sent out from the United States and Europe, our international missionaries did not receive any financial support from the sending church. They left with enough money to survive for a few days, a suitcase of clothes, and a divine principle book. Instead of living in nice buildings or homes, they stayed in tiny rooms or huts. They had to improvise mission plans and work together despite having different cultural backgrounds and speaking different languages. Faced with so many unknowns, those who were living and those who were sending both had to maintain a brave face, knowing each missionary was stepping into unpredictable future. Our missionaries committed to a 5-year tenure, but more than a few who went to Africa and the Middle East remained for 20 years and more. Once or twice a year, if they could, they would attend a World Mission Conference at our East Garden facility in New York. One young missionary arriving at one such conference burst into tears upon seeing my husband and me. It was her first time meeting us, hearts that wanted to weep in joy and sadness. How could how could there be anything but that? The person who wanted to weep the most was me. But I knew if I did so, the happy occasion would turn into an ocean of tears. Therefore, with the heart of a strong mother, I embraced the young women instead. The next day, I took all the missionaries out and bought them blouses and scarves, or dress, shirts, and neckties. This looks good on you, I would say to each of them, adding, you have worked very hard, but together with my sincere consolation, I would ask them to be strong and press harder. If we sacrifice a little more on the way of the will, a peaceful world will come about in our time. Near the close of these conferences, the missionaries would pledge their new resolve in front of God's will and depart again to the front line of His dispensation. My heart of loving admiration for our leaders and tribal Visayas who have left their homeland for the sake of humanity remains unchanged to this day. Whenever we sent missionaries to an unfamiliar lands, my husband and I held unto heaven and prayed earnestly for each one of them. In the 1970s and 1980s, the unification movement faced intense opposition the world over. An unknown party even sent a bomb threat to our church. Jew.
Let us give a hand to our Heavenly Parent and true parents. And thank you so much, Sister Joy, for reading. Yeah. Sister Joy is a staff here in HQ under UPF, one of the pillar people, and she's under International Association for Peace and Economic Philippines. Thank you, Joy, for reading. Now, let's hear to share her 10 points of gratitude, our sister Gabrielle Elizabeth Bigol.
Good morning, Heavenly Parent and true parents. Good morning, leaders, elders, brothers and sisters. Good morning po. Good morning, everyone. So let me share my 10 points of gratitude. First, I am grateful for the new day and for waking up safe despite of our vulnerabilities as we sleep. Thank you, Heavenly Parent and true parents and the spirit world for protection. So, even though it's just simple, I think it is very important that we always thank God for waking us up. No? Kasi marami yung hindi na nagigising. So, we are very blessed to have a new life. Second, I am grateful that I was born and living at the time of true parents, especially in the era of true mother. So just like a daughter to my physical mother, I want to do my best to live a life every day that would make True Mother proud of me. I hope we can do our best to help True Mother fulfill her promise to True Father and to Heavenly Parent. Especially yesterday during True Mother's speech in the Rally of Hope, where she shared how one member in Chonpyong saw her, and she said that this is how each children of heavenly parent is longing for their parents, longing to see true parents, and that's why we must, like, as our act of love to our true parents, to our heavenly parent, I realized that every day we must do our best so that at least more people, maybe not 100 in a day, but at least 2 to 3 people would know more about true parents and advance, like, develop more relationship to true parents, to true mother. Third, I am grateful to all the leaders who walk the path of example by action and sacrifices. As younger generations, we look up to them as they attend and do their best for God through parents and us, the future generations. So since I am especially lalo na dito sa HQ, since I am part of the HQ staff, I am always surrounded with leaders, and sa UPF then especially, we're not just dealing with leaders here in the Philippines, but also leaders from other countries, from other region. And I am always inspired and amazed by how deep their commitment and their motivation, I mean, their commitment and their action towards God, towards the providence, towards true parents. So yun, I am looking up to them, and I hope that we as future, kami yung magiging future ancestors ng mga next generations, we can also do our part to be like them or to be more than like them. No? So yun po. Fourth, I am grateful to the leaders, brothers and sisters who worked for the fifth Rally of Hope success. So we know that even though right now we don't see very big tangible results, but we should be hopeful and positive. We are planting seeds, and seeds will grow beautifully when we continue to do our best to take care of it. So this past few days, very busy yung HQ. And alam ko sa Ate Yev, nakaka-relate siya. So every one of us naman here in HQ, sunod-sunod yung events namin. And yun nga, yesterday was the Rally of Hope, fifth Rally of Hope. And looking back dun sa pinagdaanan namin from the first Rally of Hope until this recent Rally of Hope, especially yung Rally of Hope Philippines, I am really proud, and I'm really grateful to each brothers and sisters and leaders who are really working tirelessly day and night to really offer victorious results to our true mother. No, especially even though sa mga regions, no, they are also doing their best po. So yun, thank you so much for all your hard works, and I truly believe na right now we are already we are already receiving some of the results of our hard works, which is yung mga partnerships po natin, yung mga projects na nagagawa na natin in different organizations and also in different regions. But if you can see pa yung talagang yung malaki ang output, then someday, don't worry, that seeds will grow. Those seeds will grow even more, and surely I truly believe na someday we can fully restore our nation and really offer it fully to our true mother. So let's just do our best and continue watering the seeds that we planted towards these VIPs that we are communicating to those people that we are building relationships. As we as we continue to communicate with them, do our best. We are watering the seeds that we have planted to the other providential events. Fifth, I am grateful to the HQ family. Each staff are doing their best in their responsibilities as representative of their department and our nation. But also, they are doing their best to advance the Providence by giving everything that they have. Although most of the time we are still they take time. Still they take time for one another. So ayun, a chat, a good laugh, coffee with dance. Now, all these simple things give warmth to the heart. So yun, syempre dito sa HQ, ano talaga, we have different schedules, different departments. So, ang term ko nga doon nangangapit bahay. So yun, I really am, I always observe people and I am always grateful for all people na, na-observe ko naman na each one of them, each one of us here, we are still, even though no matter how busy we are, we still take time to listen to our fellow brother, fellow sister, even just a small chat, or even just a simple hello, napaka-valuable niya sa bawat isa sa HQ staff. Yun. Kasi it's our way how to check each other and it's our way how to motivate each other, even though kahit mga simpleng pag-joke lang, mga ganun, we are breathing life to one another as we are communicating here in HQ. So I'm always grateful also to our leaders, our Ate Jessa, who is always one chat away, one call away, one office away. She's really doing her best to assist us and to be an elder sister to us. And also Tita Dulce as our mother figure here in HQ. She is always there if you chat her and if you want to report something or ask for something. So she's always there for us. And also other elders here, leaders who come by, who visit in HQ. It's like seeing new faces in HQ is seeing new our family members who we did not see because of the pandemic. So yun, we're so grateful for all these leaders, brothers and sisters. 6, I am grateful to the Park family who mostly belong now to YSP. So I am always proud that I came from CARP, and I'm always proud about all the experiences that we have been through. And as I see YSP brand projects such as the Pure Love Education and Headwing Thought Against Communism, I am deeply happy about it. I am from PUP and from a broken family. So personally, I shout my support for this teaching of true parents. So hindi ko na masyadong pahabaan, but what I really am grateful is yung initiative nila Ate Nikki, nila Jude, ng mga members sa YSP. When we were in CARP, I really remember all the plans that we have with our CARP leaders when I was in CARP still. And seeing it into fruition sa YSP, most of it into fruition sa YSP, I am really grateful for these elders who stand, sila Ate Ella, yung mga elders or mga brothers and sisters na nag-i-stand sa CARP now belongs to YSP. I am really 100% support to them. Kasi I truly believe na all of us naman, di ba? We truly believe that the young generations are the hope. So even though I'm not part of the CARP anymore, or not like I'm not really directly the person working in CARP, but I'm always grateful to help them anytime that they need help and support them as always. So yeah, thank you so much po, YSP. 7, I am grateful for the special great works that True Mother opened for all of us. I am grateful that I am in HQ and that I can join. Also, the next day, there was Chonbo Asia Pacific. So, and we are so blessed. Yun yung na-realize ko po. Yun, lalo na yung 2 consecutive na Chonbo special great works. I realized na being an HQ staff, although yes, we have many tasks, but still, we are also very blessed. Kasi every time that there is a news from international headquarters, we are the first one who receive this grace or these blessings. So that's why while I'm attending this special Great Works in Chonbo, I'm thinking of my goal for my ancestors' liberation and blessing. Kasi hindi ko pa po siya tapos pa. Kalahati pa lang. So I want to finish it by this year. Because I have a personal goal. Kasi True Mother said True Parents said our last mission is Heavenly Tribal Messiah. So even though I'm not yet blessed, but I'm thinking for the future that I really want to start early the Heavenly Tribal Messiah someday if I have already a partner and blessed. Because we have to I'm thinking that as much as we have time here on earth, we have to maximize each day to really think and plan and do our part to fulfill True Parents' promise to God, which is to bring back all his children and all his family. 8. 8. I am grateful to work with Dr. Kittel for the media report ever since the Rally of Hope started. So my experiences for making all these reports, transcribing, analyzing, and writing, and communicating with Asia Pacific leaders, I treat all this as training of heart and courage as well. Of course, I will not be able to work with Dr. Kittel without Sir Julius and Sir L.A. and Sir Venus. But ever since Rally of Hope started on August, this is what one of my consistent gratitudes, yung makapag-work with Dr. Kittel for the Rally of Hope, because it really helped me not just in a technical aspect as a teacher or as an English writer, but also in spiritually. No, I feel I am learning when I'm communicating with Asia Pacific leaders, and I'm also learning more about the hearts of the leaders, because even though I do not know them, I haven't met them personally or in person, each one of them, I really don't know their face most, but still I can really see their dedication every time we have Rally of Hope. The leaders, Itahara, the Honorable Eknat, and other leaders. No, they really do their best, and especially Dr. Kittel, because our work involves pre-event, during the event, and even post-event. So it's our work is really very important in terms of reporting to True Mother, and I'm really grateful and honored to assist Dr. Kittel with that. I really appreciate him so much, because I am always amazed that even he is always young at heart. You know, we cannot really feel the age with Dr. Kittel because he's always young at heart. And to be honest, even last night I slept around 2 a.m. He also slept around that time. So because we are not yet finished with the media report of the Rally of Hope. So I'm always amazed how some of the leaders really are adjusting their time, with the time zone, different time zone, and really doing their best to offer this reports that is representative of our victory for our Rally of Hope, so that we can even bring smile to True Mother. So yun, I am really grateful. 9, I am grateful to be part of the Public Relations Department of UPF and PWPA. For Dr. Binos, that even up to this moment, I am always amazed with how he can do everything or anything. Ang tawag ko po sa kanya, ako lang yun, sa mind ko lang, Superman. Kasi ang dami na niyang ginagawa, pero kaya niyang gawin lahat. So, yun. Na-amaze ako kay Sir Venus sa part na yun. But I'm always grateful how Sir Venus always do her best. Especially sa public relation talaga. Ang galing niya pagdating sa mga VIPs. Ayun. Kahit mga last minute, nakakommunicate pa rin yung mga VIPs. So, yun. I hope that someday we can also inherit this heart of Sir Venus, no, na he's always talaga doing his best as well. Also, for all the sisters in our office, we know how important our tasks are, not just as office staff, but also for every event that we have. So most of us are not just doing one task, but many tasks, even outside our department. Same with other HQ staff. However, for 2 years I've been here, we see each other do their best to still survive spiritually and continue every day, especially during the pandemic. Since sila Ate Joy, sila Ate MJ, and all other sisters, no? Puro sisters kasi po kami dito sa UPF. So yun, all other sisters, they are also doing their best to really represent our pillars under UPF. And I'm always inspired with them. Although I'm not really expressive, but I'm just observing and always grateful for each actions or each day that we are working together. Lastly, sorry for the very long gratitude. Lastly, number 10, I am grateful to share these points of gratitude for the first day of March. So today we commemorate the March 1st movement or Samil in Korean. So we all know what it means to true parents, especially diba kay Demonin in the first part of True Mother's autobiography. And we all know about the meaning of the March 1st movement. Also, on Friday, on March 5, I will be turning 24. But rather, I would like to remember that day as the wedding day of True Mother's parents. So when I read it in True Mother's autobiography, yun, minark ko na siya na this March 5 is True Mother's parents' wedding. And it's really a memorable day. And on March 15 is my mother's birthday. But I would still remember that this as True Parents' Holy Wedding on lunar calendar count. Again, it is another important day for our true parents, the Holy Wedding. And on the 21st of March, 5 years ago, I also received the revelation of True Father as the Messiah. So it's my spiritual birth month as well. Therefore, March is really a blessed month for me. And I'm grateful that I'm the first one who shared the gratitude for this month of March. So it is a month full of meaning. And actually, March is springtime. Kasi yung first week of March is winter. And then from the mid-March is spring. So therefore, my last gratitude is about the value of deep connection. I'm sure not just me, but each one of us will be able to find that deep connection between yourself and your parents. So thank you so much, all leaders, brothers, and sisters, for being here with us and for listening to my gratitude. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much, Sister Gab, for sharing your 10 points. Let us give hand to our Sister Gab. Yeah, she is one of the public relation staff here in UPF under Professors World Peace Academy. Thank you, Sister Gab. Now for our guidance and inspiration this morning, let us welcome our beloved national leader, Reverend Leo Angelo Halong.
Thank you very much, our Sister Yab. Good morning to our Heavenly Parent and True Parents, to all our beloved leaders, and all of the central families, brothers and sisters. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Annyeong hashimnika, ohayo gozaimasu. Thank you very much for, again, joining our Hunduke today. Today is the first day of March. Really, time really passes so fast. Third month na po tayo ng 2021. Yeah, really, we are not noticing, but really, days are really passing so fast. Later on, matatapos na naman yung year 2021. Last week, we had many things na nangyari po. Not only the Rally of Hope yesterday, but also we had the Great Works. We could participate, and then meron din po yung Asia Pacific Chonbo event. Really, we received so much love and grace from Heavenly Parent and True Parents. And also yesterday was really so inspiring. Yung messages po yesterday, and we could see like after the 4 rallies of hope, the Rally of Hope number 5, it's like more elevated yung kanya, and really diverse. The speakers, they're not just from the religious realm, they're not just from the politics, but even people who are directly involved in solving the coronavirus problem that we have. So they are really like substantial people who are contributing in solving the problems of our society. And then really True Mother's message also yesterday was really so deep. So later we're going to have the full transcript of that one. And really I feel that True Mother is really very bold and really testifying to the whole world. Especially we have heard that for the past rallies of hope, 1 to 4, we have reached billions of people. Really, through Mother's goal of reaching out to 7.8 billion people in the world, we are already in that track. We have already breakthrough billions of people reaching out, being reached because of this rally of hope. Really, our true parents, our true mothers, really so desperate, conveying to us heavenly parents' desperate heart of saving all humanity. We are really, really grateful to our heavenly parent and true parents. So also thank you very much, our sister Gab, for sharing your very precious points. Thank you for all your hard work and all our leaders who have really worked so hard and really contributed so much for our Rally of Hope. In the Philippines, we have reached around 67,000 registered participants. Of course, we have reached the goal. We have given 50,000 actually from IHQ, but in Asia, actually, we were given actually 100,000 goal in the Philippines. And but this time we could reach 67,000. The entire Asia Pacific too, we have reached around 70, I think 71,000 registered. But with the goal of 50,000, we have reached that. But of course, in the Philippines, because already we have the 1 million Rally of Hope. Anyway, still we are really continuously setting up well our database and the records, but still we could offer this to heavenly parents and true parents. So thank you very much for all your hard work. And also yesterday, attendance were checked. We have around 1,200 members who were able to watch. So thank you very much for continuously supporting. Let's really encourage continuously brothers and sisters to really continue to support and really participate in all the events of our beloved true parents. Thank you so much for all your investment and hard work. And so today I would like to share with you so good morning once again. So this morning I would like to share this topic entitled Attaining Spiritual Wisdom. Yeah, so since we are actually spiritual beings, right? And then because of the fall, we became ignorant, and then sometimes we cannot perceive, spiritual, things in our life, around us. So how can we attain, this wisdom? How can we have spiritual wisdom? So this is really important in our life. Yeah, so today I would like to share about this topic. So let's begin. So Father said, we should cultivate the heart of true love through experience. We should cultivate the heart of true love through experience. True love cannot be learned through the spoken or written word or through general education. This is how it was in the beginning. Adam and Eve, who were created as infants, were to grow and experience love at each stage of life, perfecting in turn the heart of true children, the heart of true brother and sister, and the heart of true parents. Only by experiencing each of these kinds of love can we become ideal people who fulfill the purpose of creation. Many times, True Father is telling us that really true love can only learn through experience. No school can teach us about this. Father said, true love cannot be learned through spoken or written word or through general education. That's why through our experience, we can learn about love. We can learn about true love. The same is true with our first human ancestors, Adam and Eve, who were created. They started also from infants. They need to grow and experience these different levels of love, different kinds of love in their life, in different stage. They have to learn the heart of being true children, true brother and sister, the heart, and then later on the heart of true parents. That's why also in our life, really we need really experience. Even in the education, actually, we have this cognitive and experiential. But basically, when you go to school, basically you learn about theories, and then we lack experience. That's why true father is, really pushing us in the beginning, how much, our elders, our leaders have gone through, especially during at the early age of our movement, how much true father really pushed them and really, go through difficulties and really experience how to experience heavenly parents' heart. That's why even though we read all the teachings of true parents, of course we can, somehow, and then we can inherit from our elders, but still we need to experience it, right? Like, many times we are teaching a lot of people, we have many examples already. Like, for example, in order for us to understand the taste of Coca-Cola, many times we use this when we are giving lecture. Even how much we explain this to one person who doesn't taste it, he will never understand. The same is true, right? So how can we really understand God's love? How can we understand God's heart? Only through experiencing it. That's why all of us needs to go through certain course in our life. Whether we are young, our young generations, or young adults, they need to go through. They need to experience. Someone who doesn't have a brother or a sister, he don't know what is a brother and sister's love, right? That's why everything really goes through experience. We need to understand through experience. So Father said, only by experiencing each of these kinds of love can we become ideal people who fulfill the purpose of creation. That's why without experience, we can never become the ideal people who will fulfill the ideal of creation. This is what Father said. That's why we are really, pushed through in the field, in the front line to experience. Kaya nga, until this time, right? Everybody needs to go to the front line and everybody needs to experience. In order for us to really understand God's painful heart, we need to go to the most difficult situation. That's why our beloved true Father, He chose to be always in the most difficult situations because God is there. I can feel and experience heavenly parents there. This is what Father is telling us. Aju, that's why we can cultivate our heart of true love through experience. Through experience. Really, this is the most important, part of how we can develop our heart. How can we become mature? How can we really understand our heavenly parent and our true parent's heart? Aju? Aju. Father said there are two types of people. This is interesting. This is very interesting. Father said there are generally two types of people, the intellectual type and the spiritual type. When intellectual type people search for an answer, if their search coincides with their reasoning, they accept it. But if it does not, they reject it. Spiritual type people are more intuitive, making decisions based on intuition more than reason. People of the spiritual type feel from inside and apply it to the outside, while the intellectual type experience the outside and apply it in the inside. One type is extroverted and the other introverted. So we can know where from these two types of people we belong to, or what is more, are we more on the spiritual side or are we more on the intellectual type? So intellectual type. So we can learn here. So Father will going to guide us here today about these two things. So Father said spiritual type people are more intuitive, making decisions based on intuition more than reason. So people on the spiritual type feel from inside and apply it to outside. So from inside to outside. While the intellectual type, they experience from outside and apply it in the inside. So also the intellectual type, Father said, they search for an answer, and if there's a research, doesn't coincide, then they don't accept it. They reject if they it not coincide based on their research. So these are the two types of people. Father said, intellectual type people usually do not like to pray. They resist praying and question the need for it. Do I need to pray? Why do I need to pray? If I will, these are the intellectual type people. They do not feel comfortable calling out Heavenly Father. They do not feel that it is real. Prayer, God, etc. appear to them like superstition. Since they don't believe in prayer, they feel to pray would be to deny their integrity. They judge the truth of something by whether it agrees with their theoretical model of the world. This is the intellectual type. While the spiritual type people, Father said, on the other hand, love saying the words Heavenly Father from birth. They delight in prayer and do not need any explanation. So intellectual type, they don't, they feel something strange. When they pray, do I need to pray? Why do I need to, calling the name of Heavenly Father? So for them, it's like these things are superstition. They really don't believe in prayer. So they feel when, they're praying like they are denying their integrity, Father said. So they judge the truth of something by whether it agrees with the theoretical model of the world. So they always, they prioritize on considering, based on theory, right? They just do not believe on something that is not proven, So while the spiritual type, they love saying the words Heavenly Father. They love to hear, the word God. From birth, Father said, they delight in prayer and do not need any explanation. This is the spiritual type person. Father said, great persons can appear from among spiritual people. Intellectual type people cannot launch a revolutionary spiritual movement. In the world of faith, those who can do something extraordinary are not intellectuals, but are rather uninformed and simple-minded people who are spiritual. They do what comes to them, disregarding what the world says, believing that God told them to do it. They just go ahead and do it. After doing it, they find that what they did turned out to be right. Great persons can appear from among such spiritual people. So Father said, great people appear from among spiritual people. Sabi ni Father, yung mga intellectual type people daw, they cannot launch a revolutionary spiritual movement. So we learn also from history. Napag-aralan po natin in history. All the people that was called by God, right? They are, they are the ones who just, just follow absolutely. Just, they just believe. They just believe about it. So they are more on the spiritual type, right? They just absolutely, they receive revelation, they listen, without, any basis. They just absolutely follow. So we learn that these people, they are now the ones that we are studying about their life, right? So they are the spiritual type people. So Father is saying, great persons can appear from among such spiritual people. So, sabi ni Father, in the world of faith, those who can do something extraordinary are not intellectuals, but are rather uninformed and simple-minded people who are spiritual. So, when we talk about the word miracle, miracle cannot explain, right, why it happens. So, if we are the type of people that always we need some proof, then miracles will not be experienced by us, right? Because experience cannot explain some just, sometimes suddenly happen, right? So that's why sabi ni Father dito, great persons can appear from among such spiritual people. We accomplish something, beyond imagination. So that cannot be proven and never proven in the past, right? That's why these are beyond imagination. So these are people who, believe, and prioritizing, their life of faith, really believing in something that even really didn't happen before. Like now we believe in the kingdom of heaven, right? But this kingdom of heaven never happened before, never experienced before. But we believe about this, right? So people who, calculate and people who, always need like proof, they don't believe much about these things because never it was seen. Never it is seen in the past, right? So actually, this is the subject in us. So that's why Father is saying, great persons can appear from among such spiritual people. So that's why even Father before, right? In the beginning, that's why many people call Father crazy. He's proclaiming something that, never seen, right? But Father believed. So that's why great people in the past, they, consider, they just didn't rely with, what the society can show or what has proven in the past, but it's really beyond it, right? So that's why sabi ni Father, great persons can appear from among such spiritual people. Father said, having spiritual experience can change a person completely. Kaya nga ngayon, in our time today, the spiritual world and physical world are together now, really working together ngayon. Many revelations are being received by people. So sabi ni Father ngayon, having spiritual experience can change a person completely. Like for example, the Apostle Paul was an intellectual type person. Nevertheless, after having a spiritual experience on the road to Damascus, he totally changed. Having felt something exclusive from inside that was greater than anything he had experienced from external investigation, he came to deny everything he had been taught and accepted his new experience as the truth. Hence, he could become the pioneer of a new revolutionary religion, which is Christianity. So we know the experience of Apostle Paul, right? He was struck by lightning in his way to Damascus. So this experience changed his life completely. This experience changes life completely. Actually, many among our brothers and sisters also, I think they have spiritual experiences. That, once this experience you have, immediately your life completely changed. Kaya nga tayo, minsan hindi tayo naniniwala. Minsan, many brothers and sisters, when they learn the principle, when they learn about true parents, they didn't believe immediately to true parents. So many testimonies, that they dream about true parents, right? They have these spiritual experiences that completely change their life. Kaya nga ngayon, if you have some doubts, we have, confusion, if we, we are sincere, we offer conditions, we are really serious, we can receive, especially now that the spiritual world is really widely open. If you are really sincere, you want to really prove something, spiritual world will really show you in an instant, and then everything will change in your life. Aju, this is now the world where we are living in. That's why if we still have doubts or confusion in our life, am I in the right path? Sometimes we are explaining, is true mother is really the one? Right? So still we have many confusions in our life. That's why we need to offer more conditions. Maybe we need to do bowing for 100 bows or whatever. Do shower condition. If you have doubts or already we are in this time that everything is very clear, right? That's why if you are just clear now with your life, actually you will really progress. You will really progress your spiritual life. You will really grow. You will really mature. That's why it is still many things in our life, because still we are in the stage where we couldn't reach this level, right? Everything is now very, very clear. More than before, right? That's why really True Mother now is the only center. True Mother is the only hope. That's why we have to really unite completely. That's why if still marami pa rin confusion sa buhay natin. Bakit ganito pa rin? Marami pa rin tayong tanong, ganito. Because we don't have these experiences in our life. We couldn't really feel and experience heavenly parents. Sabi ni Father, what is the most, pitiful situation of human beings? If they don't have experience with heavenly parents. Kaya kapag tayo very dry ang buhay natin, we don't have these experiences, spiritual experiences sa buhay natin. That's why we don't know where to go. We are always confused. Very sad life, di ba? That's why if we have this, if we, open our mind, our heart, we can feel, we will know where to go. Aju? That's why it's really, really important, lalo na ngayong time po na to, that, the spiritual world, through Fathers working 24 hours. Hyojinim, Hongjinim, Demonim, over 500 billions of absolute good spirits are working now. Can you imagine on earth, we are only 7.8 billion people. Can you imagine over 500 billions of absolute good spirits are working, protecting us, our ancestors, guiding us in our daily life. They're always with us. Can you imagine? Right? That's why we are not alone. We are not alone. Those who have completed already their 430 generations, they are always with you, guiding you in every step of the way. They're very excited, actually, as we do our mission. Aju? That's why we should feel somehow that our ancestors are with us. You know, we through the Chonbu events, we learn many testimonies, and then some brothers and sisters are sharing their testimonies, you know, about how they feel the protection of the spiritual world. Really amazing. You know, we can feel in our life we are not alone. Aju, that's why we have to feel these things now beyond these physical situations that we have. That's why it's very important. If we have confusion, still we are, you know, doubting in our life, we have to, you know, pray and offer more devotion. And then you're going to really feel. And then your life will surely change. Aju? Aju. This is really important. Father said, you should know which type of person you are. You should know which type of person you are. In general, spiritual people are thick in spirit but pointy in intellect. Therefore, although they may be solid in the beginning, they will not be consistent all the way. And after a time, their works often fail. So, ganun din, even though we are spiritual, sabi ni Father, sometimes spiritual people, sabi ni Father, they're very thick in spirit but pointy in intellect. Therefore, although they may be solid in the beginning, they will not be consistent all the way, and after a time, their works often fail. So, also, we shouldn't just, you know, be enough lang din na spiritual lang din, sabi ni Father. So, and then, continuation, sabi ni Father, by the same token, although a person of truth may be strong, if his spirituality is weak, his works will also eventually fall short. So therefore, Father said, whichever type of person we are, we need to balance these two aspects. So kahit ano pa tayo, sabi ni Father, even though, for example, we are spiritual type of people or we are the intellectual type of people, we need still to balance. Sabi ni Father, whichever type of person we are, we need to balance these two aspects. These two, they need to be working together in the internal and, you know, external. Our spiritual type, this should be in the internal side, and then being intellectual type, external. They need to be together. They need to be balanced, sabi ni Father. They need to work together. Right? So that's why kahit ano pa tayo ngayon, we realize I'm more on spiritual side, spiritual type, and I'm more on intellectual type. So now if we realize kung saan tayo belong, where from here we belong. So if we are more spiritual, we need to develop also our intellectual side. If we are more intellectual, we need to develop our spiritual side. Aju? So we need to balance so we can become successful and victorious. Aju? This is really important. Father said, we should be able to control both the spirit world and physical world. There is a saying, worship God in spirit and truth, from the book of John, verses 4 to 23. Kaya nga, nakalagay yan sa Bible. Worship God in spirit and truth. It means that people should make these two sides parallel and find harmony between them. We should be able to control both the spirit world and the physical world. Standing in the center of spirituality and rationality, we should be able to make adjustments between the right and the left. Otherwise, we cannot reach perfection. So if we realize now that I am more on the spiritual side, so meaning you need to adjust and also, you know, invest more to develop your intellectual side. Or if you are more on the intellectual side, you need to invest more and develop more your spiritual side. Otherwise, sabi ni Father, we cannot reach perfection. So in order for us to reach perfection, this spiritual side and our intellectual side need to go parallel. They need to go together. And then that is the only way for us to reach perfection. That's why we need to worship God in spirit and truth. This is what Father said. Aju, that's why this is really important. So now we can realize, we can now examine ourselves. Where are we more, what we develop more first, right, in ourselves. So we need to balance this, right? So, but really we learn sometimes, very intellectual people, very difficult, not easy. That's why in the beginning also, while we are young, we have to develop this also spirituality from our young age. And then naturally when children go to school, they naturally learn about this one, right? But of course meron minsan kasi mga tamad na estudyante, hindi nag-aaral din ng mabuti, di ba? That's why we really need to balance. Father said the only way for us to reach perfection is when these two are balanced. So now we realize from saan tayo belong. So now we need to invest with the ones that we are lacking, right? So that we can reach perfection. We can reach perfection. So this is a really important guidance of our beloved true Father. So Father said, cognition does take place through both spiritual and physical processes. Fallen people have been overcoming their internal ignorance by enlightening their spirituality and intellect with the Spirit and truth. Spirit in this context denotes the inspiration of heaven. Cognition of a spiritual reality begins when it is perceived through the five senses of the spirit self. These perceptions resonate through the five physical senses and are felt physiologically. Cognition of truth, on the other hand, arises from the knowledge gleaned from the physical world, as it is perceived directly through our physiological sense organs. Cognition does take place through both spiritual and physical processes. So, cognition, sabi ni Father, take place through both the spiritual and physical. So like fallen people, we are overcoming our internal ignorance through enlightenment, enlightening our spirituality and intellect with the Spirit and truth. So from there, then it, this Spirit in the context denotes the inspiration from heaven. So, the inspiration we receive. And then this cognition of spiritual reality begins when it is perceived through our five senses of the spirit self. So our spiritual senses, but because of the fall, what happens to our spiritual senses? We were actually blinded. These spiritual senses that we have, it's not, working properly because of the fall, right? So actually through these spiritual senses, through how it perceived, this perception resonate through our five physical senses and we can feel it physiologically. Ganun yung mangyayari, ganun yung proseso niya. This is the process. First, that's why we need to be enlightened. Enlightenment. That's why we are investing, right? Offering conditions. Kaya nga tayo rin, kaya we are really doing all these things, these spiritual things, for us to, open our spiritual senses and receive, enlightenment. And then, after this will be processed, it will be felt physiologically. We can apply this in our daily life. So ganun din yung on the other hand, sabi ni Father, cognition of truth on the other hand arises from the knowledge gleaned from the physical world. And then the other side naman is from the knowledge we are learning. We are being educated, we go to school, right? And then in science, how we learn, we go to school. We understand through science, right? And then it perceived directly through our physiological sense organs. So both these, two things, sabi ni Father, cognition that takes place through both in the spiritual and the physical. It goes through these processes. So this is how we human beings are being enlightened, right? And really solve both our internal and external ignorance through this process. So Father said, human beings become complete only when their spirit self and physical self are united. Human beings become complete only when their spirit self and physical self are united. Hence, the experience of divine inspiration gained through spiritual cognition and the knowledge of truth obtained through physical cognition should become fully harmonized and awaken the spirituality and intellect together. It is only when the spiritual and physical dimensions of cognition resonate together that we can thoroughly comprehend God and the universe. So, sabi ni Father, it is really important that these two, it is only when the spiritual and physical dimensions of cognition resonate together that we can thoroughly comprehend God and the universe. So we will fully become an enlightened one, enlightened being. Kapag pareho ito, that's why we are balancing things. We learn, di ba? In our current situation, many religious leaders, many times we are, using like the Buddhist tradition. The Buddhist people, they are always in meditation. But they go to the mountain, they meditate, but for them, this is just, they're just living in this kind of world of meditation. But in practice, they are not considering some religious people, they are not considering the reality, right? What's happening? The actual situations, they're not considering this. Right? But for us, really amazing, our true parents, the divine principle, taught us to really balance this. There are also people, they are just considering the reality. They don't believe with the things that cannot be seen, right? They need to prove something in order for them to believe in. That's why, true parents are really the solution. They're the ones bringing these two things together because we are created with the spirit and physical body. So because of the fall, right? Human beings became, ignorant. Everything became unclear to us, both in our spirit self and then also physical self. So that's why these two need to be enlightened. That's why we need both the spirit, and truth, and also considering the reality. But we know clearly what is the subject, what is the internal and external. They need to go together. That's why really amazing Father said, human beings become complete only when their spirit self and physical self are unified. This is really amazing how really fortunate people we are. Now, whatever situations in the physical world, and then also we could understand now the spiritual world because of true parents. So we are like, whatever situations we know how to solve, how we answer. Really amazing, our true parents. That's why only through having this knowledge that human beings can reach perfection. Really amazing. That's why now we have to really balance things. That's why really if we are already, really growing and maturing actually in our own life, we can solve all problems. We can, we will really have harmonious relationships among each other in our own families, with our leaders, brothers and sisters. If we are already really advanced, both in the spiritual side and in the physical side, we actually become really a person, becoming closer to our heavenly parent. And then we can solve all problems in our families, brothers and sisters. Kaya nga, this is really the main problem. Sometimes, when we check ourselves, sometimes we are more on the, considering just the reality. And then we even still neglect, the spiritual things. And then some people, they are just also focusing with the spiritual side, and then still many problems. Of course, you cannot just deny, right? What's the reality? Of course, we need to make, especially in the beginning, really, really life of faith, always like this. But really now we are living in this time where we are bringing everything to completion. We have to really balance things, right? We have to really balance things. And then actually, if we are already in this way, we can really solve all problems in our life. That's why we are really, really grateful to our beloved true parents. They have given us all the solutions, right? That's why we have to really, this is now the time. We have to really evaluate, and what is lacking in us, we need to invest more, right? And really, we can become the true sons and daughters of our heavenly parent. We can really resemble our beloved true parents. This is our goal. The Bible told us we have to be perfect as our heavenly Father is perfect. That's why really in our time, how really fortunate people we are. Because we have our beloved true parents. We have still our true mother on earth. Aju, that's why we are really the enlightened being. We can really solve all the problems, both the physical and the spiritual. So we have to become this kind of person. That's why now, through this guidance of Father, our true parents, we need to now look at where to invest more in our life, right? If we are more realistic person, then we need to, invest more in our spiritual side. If we are just now only very spiritual person, we need to also consider, the physical side, right? So we need to balance this. This is the way to perfection. Aju, that's why one day in our lifetime, actually, we can do this. We can do this. That's why we can see the advancement of science and technology, right? We cannot deny that. We can see because Kingdom of Heaven Father said, is more advanced, right? That's why we have to learn also how to use these things now, because in the kingdom of heaven, this is really, we cannot imagine in the kingdom of heaven when we read Father's guidance about kingdom of heaven, it's unimaginable. It's unimaginable how advanced kingdom of heaven is. That's why now the world is, really advancing forward. The advancement of science and technology we cannot imagine now. Because we are moving towards establishment of Channel Group, we are moving towards building kingdom of heaven. Aju, that's why we have to really now is the time to really evaluate ourselves. What is lacking? We have to put more effort, and really we can go together with our beloved true mother, and then we can really become true sons and daughters of Heavenly Parent, and our true parents, Heavenly Parent, will be very proud of us, and then we will be really the ones to really complete the providence in true mother's lifetime. Aju, we can see already now the world, all people now are testifying about our beloved true parents, testifying about our beloved true mother. Let's really do our best. This is actually our mission. Yesterday, true mother was boldly, testifying. We realized that actually this should be us. It's our mission. We need to testify everywhere in the social media. We need to testify about our beloved true parents, about our beloved true mother. She's the only hope. All people needs to attend. The Heavenly Parent needs to attend our true parents. Needs to be connected. Everybody needs to receive the blessing. Aju, that's why this is now the time. That's using all these technologies that we have, our spiritual antenna very active, our, the physical world, everything is given to us now in our time today. That's why no matter what, kingdom of heaven should be realized in the lifetime of our beloved true mother, through all of us working together directly with our beloved true mother now on earth. Aju, that's why this is really amazing guidance of our beloved true parents. We can surely reach perfection. It's no more impossible now, right? That's why let's continue to really become, the model people, right? Let's really show to the world who are the blessed families, who are the children of true parents. And let's really bring all people in this Heavenly Parents Holy Community, where all people can truly live in joy and in happiness. And everybody can really experience Heavenly Parents and true parents' love in this Heavenly Parents Holy Community. Aju, so Heavenly Parents and true parents are really, really proud of all of us. But really, we need to really invest more and really work together with our beloved true parents and really complete the providence while true mother is with us on earth. Aju. So once again, thank you so much to all our beloved brothers and sisters. Thank you for your continuous devotion and really dedication. Really, Heavenly Parents and true parents knows how much each families, each brothers and sisters are really investing and sacrificing. Really, one day we can truly build Channel Book, not only in our nation, but really we can contribute in really reunifying South and North Korea. Amazing. Yesterday, can you imagine the Prime Minister already in Korea now is starting to give message. Really, Korea now needs to be awakened because of these amazing events. So now yesterday we are also sharing and reflecting. The world now is really coming together and really testifying. Yesterday, Cambodia offered, even though communist nation, they are very far because of this pandemic, they cannot come. But, can you imagine? So what is Korea now thinking? South Korea, can you imagine? They need to be ashamed of themselves. Can you imagine? They are the host, and then even in the third rally of hope, many feedback. We are really thankful that Father and Mother Moon Unification Movement is honoring the Korean War veterans. But how about the Korean government? Can you imagine now? True parents' work. Really now, the world, especially Korean Peninsula, South Korea now, are being awakened. This is shame actually to them. Can you imagine? Many nations are coming, honoring, testifying about the work of true parents. But how about South Korea, right? That's why if South Korea can start to, really feel and really humble down, and really, True Mother said, these leaders need to kneel down and ask True Mother, please appoint me. We are now moving to that direction because of these rallies of hope that our true parents is doing. All leaders in all sectors of society, top leaders of the world are now coming together. Can you imagine? Really amazing, our beloved true parents, right? That's why in time, really, South Korea will really come and attend our beloved true mother. All the Korean people, they're missing this opportunity. That's why let's really work harder and really let's show to South Korea that they are the only ones, being waited by God, by true parents. They have now to come and attend our true mother, right? And then they have to use everything to attend true parents, and through that, unify North and South Korea. Aju, that's why we are moving to that direction. That's why really thank you so much to all our beloved brothers and sisters, all our leaders. Let's really invest more and really become filial sons and daughters of our heavenly parent and true parents. So once again, thank you very much for all your love and dedication. May heavenly parents and true parents love and the blessings be upon you and your families. Thank you so much. Kamsahamnida.
Yes, thank you so much to our national leader for that amazing guidance this morning. Let us give a hand to our heavenly parent and true parents and to our national leader, Reverend Leo Angela Halo. Thank you so much, sir, for the reminder. Once again, an amazing guidance this morning. Now, let us proceed to our reflection sharing. Is there anyone who wants to volunteer to share? Volunteer po. If none, allow me to.
Can I volunteer?
Oh,
No?
Tito Edgar.
Yes.
Yes. Let's welcome our Tito Edgar.
Today's topic is very inspiring for me. Actually, it is very true. Actually, my father studied electrical engineering. He's a mathematician, searching the unknown because in every phenomena of unseen actions, electricity, there is also spiritual aspect. So Dr. Edgar Tanati, when he said to me, he is a mathematician, so he does not believe blindly. But now he is the head of Asian Chongpyong Providence. There's a story of, John Newton. John Newton was a trader of slaves from Africa to Europe. He used to sell 100,000 slaves every year to Europe. But in the 17th century, 1750, he received a very strong inspiration from Christ. So he changed his life. And then he wrote the Amazing Grace, the song entitled Amazing Grace. In our church, as I analyze, most of our church presidents were not religious leaders. They're engineers. Like Reverend Julius Malikdim is an engineer, used to be our church leader. Brother John Basel also was an engineer. Mr. Soria he was a professor at university. Dr. Soria, I mean. Also, past president Kuya Eric was a businessman. Past president Michael Sabran was an engineer. So there is so much potential in the mathematicians, intellectual people to become totally dedicated religious leaders. That means our status is not predestined. It's not predestined actually. So there are many mathematicians, businessmen, who once they dedicate their lives to the providence, they can really be effective. As a matter of fact, not so much religious pastors who join our churches and become dedicated members. So this is how I can feel in the business world, in the engineering world, we can find potential leaders in our church. That's all I think I can say. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Tito Edgar, for sharing your reflection. Let us give a hand to our Tito Edgar. Yes, let's hear one more reflection from our elders. May I call to give her reflection, Mrs. Yolanda Aguirre. Welcome po. Good morning. Off na lang po, ay pa-on na lang po ng cam. and microphone. Morning po. We can microphone nyo po naka-on pero naka-off po ang cam nyo. Naririnig po namin kayo. Go ahead po.
Ato paghilabot.
Hello? Oh. Nawala siya. Okay, let's call one more. Andito na ba? Hello po, Tita Yoli. Go ahead po. Okay, sorry po. So let's call other other elders to give reflection. Let us welcome our Elder Loreto Portabes to share his reflection. Good morning po. Nawawala sila. Oh, sorry for that. We can't share. Saan na siya? Okay na po kayo, Tita Yoli? Ayan. Let's welcome once again our Tita Yolanda Aguirre to share her reflection. We cannot hear you po. Please check your audio po, your connection po.
Wala siguro, Yeb. Tawag ka na lang siguro ng iba from center.
Yes po. Sino? Okay, let's hear from the regional leader of Region 5, Ate Gloria Baston, to give her reflection.
Hi, good morning. Naririnig? Good morning po.
Good morning. We can hear you po. Loud and clear.
Good morning.
Okay, good morning everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to Heavenly Father and to parents. Actually, actually the message I can't hear it all because the signal is poor. But with the title, spiritual, uh, the most important, I think for me, the most important is our motivation uh, towards doing our mission, our sincerity, and our life of faith to many parents and parents. And also how deeply of our life and how deeply we understand true parents' heart. For me, no matter how life hard life it is nowadays, because we understand doing mission, we understand doing our responsibility to fulfill our responsibility. It always it always uh, it always we will always undergo hardship and sacrifices, and and that's our and the most important is how 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 we understand so much through parents in our life, how we understand so much the divine principle. I I know I don't have a lot of uh, so much sacrifices compared to our elders, that compared to their sacrifices before the pioneered in our areas, like my spiritual father Kuya Moon, but Ramon Didiase is my spiritual father. But to deepen more our life of faith, one thing I realize is one thing I realize always within myself is to understand deeply the three great blessing. And the three great blessing, by understanding the three great blessing, that is only the way how we can move forward to realize God's purpose. Especially that nowadays the true mother is focusing on uniting the North and South Korea, and also to raise up more young leaders, more blessing candidates, more young ones to become blessing candidates, because our world today is risky, especially in our country, that though it is pandemic, is still the teenage pregnancy is increasing. So it is for me, it is an awareness that we need to move forward and initiate how we can contribute to the providence, no matter what the difficulties, no matter what the hardship we may undergo. And I am so much thankful that through this blessing, although we also undergo many trials, adjustment, towards each other, but still because of the love, because of the principle that true parents enlightened our mind and heart, that's our weapon to move forward. So for the message today, it is very much important, the motivation itself, why you are doing your mission, because you are not doing it for yourself alone. I feel so sorry to many parents and parents. Because I cannot do well my mission. But grateful so much, because still in every days of our life, God given us opportunity to move forward, opportunity that every day when we wake up in the morning, attending Hondoke give us more determination on how we can spread out the truth to other people. I remember always how the word of true father that it is not important of having an intellect so much, but the most important is our heart, our love to God, to other people, to our brothers and sisters. That is the best thing we need to do. Especially to this region. Nandiyan lagi ang konsensya ko na I am with this position, but incapability to do well kasi kagaya nga din sa sinabi sa sa message niya. Kaya kagaya doon sa message ngayon na pero kailangan din na maging matalino din ang tao, lalo na pag nagli-lead ka, you need to become intellect as well, lalo na sa panahon ngayon. Pero to win the heart of people, the most important is your heart. Your heart and your love to many parents and to parents. Because if you have the heart and love to your mission, no matter what, everything will come. Doon ako naniniwala. Everything will gonna be okay. Lahat magiging okay din. Regardless, magiging successful din. Regardless kung financially unstable. As long as naandyan yung determination. to move forward. Nandyan yung good motivation mo, pure motivation mo. God will guide you every day. God will reveal the best, will give you right direction. Yun ang pinaka the best talaga yung motivation and yung heart natin. How we can comfort God's heart. How we can comfort through mother. That as we see through mother, napakaganda ng mga message niya. But then, when you look at through mother's face, still through mother is unsatisfied, unhappy because within myself, I am not doing so well with my mission to comfort her. But thank you so much to our leaders, to our elders, to our brothers and sisters, especially here in our region, that all our elders, brothers and sisters are cooperating. All of them are giving their support always. Thank you so much. I feel sorry kasi yung signal is for kaya di ko masyadong yung message. But then, thank you for this great opportunity. Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you so much, Ate Glo, for sharing your reflection and sharing your heart. Thank you also for all your hard works. Let us give a hand to our Tita Gloria Bastol, the regional leader of Region 5. Thank you so much po. Yes, for our final guidance, let us welcome the regional leader, the regional vice president of Heavenly Asia Pacific to Dr. Julius B. Malikdan.
Yes, thank you very much to all our leaders, brothers and sisters joining in this Hundukhe. Especially thank you to our Kuya LA for sharing to us, once again, very important guidance from our true parents, how to attain spiritual wisdom. Anyway, yesterday was very victorious. I know many of you are very proud of our true mother and how much Rally of Hope have really made such huge impact worldwide. So parang nakaka-proud, no, that this are all because of our true mother. No one can deny the Fifth Rally of Hope was another great victory that we can offer to heaven. Not only because, we saw how, the advanced virtual reality production, and then the beautiful, wonderful speakers, very diverse speeches, and most of them are giving respect to our true parents, to our true mother. But the greatest victory, I would say, of the Rally of Hope is the message from our true mother. So somehow, Rally of Hope 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then finally, in this Rally of Hope 5, true mother poured out grace from heaven, at that very instant, with all the connectivity worldwide. And then mother gave a very important education for all of humanity. So sabi nga ni True Mother, we cannot delay the providence any longer. So mother has to say what she has to say. And that was the greatest victory of this fifth Rally of Hope. And then sabi nga ni True Mother, the Rally of Hope is a gathering of all people of the world to make a firm resolve. Ibig sabihin ni True Mother, we are here gathered for what? Not just to deliver speech, not just to enjoy ourselves, not just to feel that we are together, pero ito yung time na we need to make a resolution together as humanity. So parang ganun yung sinasabi ni True Mother. And then she gave a very good example when she mentioned the resiliency of the Egyptians, especially almost 5,000 years ago when they built the pyramids of Egypt. And then with a very, the technology was not yet that advanced during that time, since it was like almost 5,000 years ago. But somehow, because they believe in something, because of their spiritual commitment, yung vision nila, then they unite together, they sacrifice, no? And then finally, they could erect the great pyramids of Egypt, which is still exists until now. So that's why Mother said, now the time, we already have the tools. We have the powerful technology. So we don't have any excuse now to do something that is also seemingly impossible, that is building heavenly unified world. So that was why True Mother gave example of the civilization, particularly yung Egyptian civilization. And so the greatest revelation, actually, I was talking about this with Dr. Kittel, even during in the past, and why Mother is always talking about Heavenly Parent and why she have that great confidence of expressing the depth of Heavenly Parent's heart, because she is the one who educated us and who accomplished the role of the only begotten daughter. So we know the principle of duality, right? So that is why Heavenly Parent, in order to have that complete, yung pagiging Heavenly Parent should be like Heavenly Father and Heavenly Mother. And so the position of True Mother as God's only begotten daughter complemented True Father's position as God's only begotten Son. And so finally, because of that unity of true parents, then yung completeness nung pagkakaintindi natin kay Heavenly Parent to God as our Heavenly Parent becomes complete. So that is why always True Mother is talking about this. And that is actually great revelation yesterday. So Mother said the world needs to wake up. No? And then sabi nga ni True Mother then that all of the problems of the world are man-made. Most of the problems of the world that we are facing now are man-made. So in a sense, the solution should also be coming from humanity's taking ownership, taking responsibility of the problem. Heavenly Parent cannot do it alone. True parents cannot do it alone. So that is why Mother is embracing the 7.8 billion people of the world. No choice. We have to come together for a common solution. So yun yung message ni True Mother yesterday. And especially when True Mother was talking about how much in the past technological advancement has been used to destroy our being human beings. Yung materialism, the culture of individualism. So yun yung naging, Mother was talking about industrial revolution. But now it is like everything is changing. Everything is changing. We, through True Parents, True Mother, we are now using technology in order to advance the culture of interdependence, mutual prosperity, universally shared values, in order to build heavenly unified world. Kaya nag-iba na, no? Nag-iba na yung ihip ng hangin, ika nga, no? So that is why when True Mother narrated the humble beginnings of our movement and how much they have gone through a lot of suffering and rejection, but this time, everybody will begin to recognize the works and the legacy of our true parents. Aju? So this is the impact of the Rally of Hope. Mother can educate the whole world, leaders from top leaders down to ordinary people. Now there's no more barrier, because using that digital platform, Mother can educate in an instant. So this is what True Mother said. We are living in the era of 1 second. So anyway, the message today, brothers and sisters, talking about spiritual wisdom or spiritual discernment. Ito yung yung of course, as spiritual beings or as spiritual leaders, we have to be always guided by truth and the Spirit. So Siguro kung tatanungin ko kayo whether you are more of the intellectual type or the spiritual type, most of you will answer spiritual type, right? So anyway, that's true. That is why you came to follow true parents. And as Father said, great persons can appear from spiritual people. So I know many of you, brothers and sisters, appeared because of that. No, you are more into spiritual type of people. And you know, when Jesus Christ was looking for his apostles, for his disciples, sino yung mga unang nag-response? They are not the intellectual type people, right? Fishermen. So sila yung unang okay, we approve without thinking, no? So ganun. That is spiritual, no? Just go for it. So kumbaga hindi mo na iniisip, hindi mo na ina-analyze. This is also the spirit of Filipinos. Very easy for us to unite. Very easy for us to say, okay, approve, let's go, without thinking, no? So anyway, and because of this, God can use us. God can use us. So anyway, just to close, what blocks the way to spiritual wisdom? Ano yung nagbablock sa atin to attain spiritual wisdom? It is actually our self-centeredness, thinking on my own, no? Because when we are self-centered, we have the tendency to be arrogant. And then when we are arrogant, then we block spiritual wisdom. Ang tawag ko minsan dyan is teachability. The ability to learn, the ability to observe, deny myself, deny my own thoughts, and then God can give His wisdom to us. Sabi nga sa Bible, the blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Actually, that is very true. When we lower ourselves, we empty ourselves, then that is the time wisdom, spiritual wisdom from our heavenly parent can come in. So let's embrace this guidance today, brothers and sisters, and let's have a victorious March in the month of March. Thank you. 감사합니다.
Yes, thank you so much, Sir Julius, for that amazing guidance. Let us give a hand to our Regional Vice President of Heavenly Asia Pacific 2, Dr. Julius B. Mantem. Thank you so much, sir. Now, may I request Ma'am Angel for our closing prayer.
Good morning, our most beloved Heavenly Parents, our beloved true parents of heaven and earth and humankind, our great leaders in the Asia Pacific, Dr. and Mrs. Kito, Dr. President Hori Masakishi, our Vice National Leader, our Vice Regional President, Dr. Julius Malikan, Mr. Ronnie Sedosta, our beloved national leader who have invested so much for this morning devotion. We are so grateful for this great opportunity to be together and to share the wisdom of Heavenly Parents, the guidance of our Heavenly Parents, our true parents, through our leaders, Father. We are so grateful that you could have this great opportunity to be revived every day, Father, to be able to renew our commitment, to be able to really understand more our mission, our responsibility, and to analyze and evaluate ourselves how we could be able to be better instruments of God's will, especially at this very precious time in history where our beloved true mother has wanted so much for all of us to really be involved, to really participate in achieving the goals in the next 7-year course. Most loving Heavenly Parents, today's guidance is really very important because through this, we could be able to really become effective instruments of Heavenly Parents in pursuing our goals. And for this guidance and for the inspiration and wisdom of our leaders in really elucidating the principle of and intellectual capacities, we will be guided, throughout our daily lives and throughout our mission, and to be able to really uh, carry on with our mission with uh, efficiency and effectiveness, and with the confidence that we could be able to really become effective instruments of our Heavenly Parents in this Chun Il group times. Thank you so much for our national leader for his chosen topic today. And thank you so much for all those who shared, for having elucidated the topic. And thank you so much also for our Dr. Julius Malikdem for really explaining to us the importance of the fifth rally of hope and what the true mother has achieved, the impact she has done throughout the world in this rally of hope. We believe that this time we should be able to really be in the place of true mother, to really proclaim true mother so proudly. And we hope that we could be able to really continue supporting Rally of Hope up to the end series until the 1/3 billion population of the world will be reached. Thank you so much for this day and for this beautiful day. And we hope that you could be able to guide and bless all our brothers and sisters all over the world, and that we could always be together aligned to our beloved true mother's will. Thank you so much for everything. We'd like to pray and report in our names, Joe and Angel, Lorenzana, Central Blessed Family. Aju.
True. Let us offer our individual prayer.
Most Heavenly Parents, thank you so much for all the blessings.
True. Let us offer our greetings to Harada and Central Parents. Kamsahamnida, Heavenly Parents, Central Parents. To all our leaders, elders, brothers, and sisters, thank you for joining and have a good day. Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
Julius.
Thank you
Bye.
so much.
Much.
Thank you very
Kamsahamnida.
much.